Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. This is a test for right now. Shalom, shalom. Let me know if you can hear me. This is just a test, just testing out this hookup that I got to see if it's working. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Everybody can. Okay, cool. Oh, wow. Yeah, I just happened to pick this up by accident a couple of weeks ago. This right here. You know, I just happened to pick it up by accident. You know, at Walmart for 15 bucks. You know, it doesn't really fit around my phone because I don't have the connection for it. But, you know, thanks to the sister that sent the tripod, I got this little thing that connects to the monopod, and it worked perfect for this. You know, so everything's spiritual. Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai on that. And pretty much, I'm going to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Chakudash. And welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Rise of the Q.O.H. Q.O.H. What is that? Queen of Heaven. Rise of the Queen of Heaven. And pretty much these are some scriptures, some scriptures and meditation that I was doing last night. I couldn't really sleep. I tried to get to sleep, but I couldn't. Probably fell asleep like maybe around 5 this morning. I popped back up around 7 something. So, you know, I didn't really get that much sleep, but Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, I'm still able to function. So that's a beautiful thing. Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So since I couldn't sleep, you know, I just popped up. You know, I was meditating on these women today. You know, just meditating on certain things and certain scriptures, and I read a couple of precepts in the Apocrypha, you know, and just as I was coming to set up, the title came to me, Rise of the Q.O.H, or the Rise of the Queen of Heaven. And that's pretty much the sentiment, you know, that's around the world. And this is not a new thing. What you have to remember, that what we're dealing with in these times is there's nothing new under the sun. Everything is just done. It's the same thing done over. And it got me to thinking, you know, Lord, so we can hit some of those precepts. And the problem of the world today, first and foremost, is Esau, the devil that's in rulership, and the out of order, you know, curriculum and teachings that he has pushed around the world. You know, pretty much he's got everything backwards. You know, surely the turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as a potter's clay. And seeing that he has everything upside down, it's no wonder why these women are the way that they are today. You know, and, you know, blessed be you sisters, you few sisters that, you know, are coming to this platform to learn, you know, how to be women again. You know, the Lord is drawing you, you know, to pretty much learn your place, you know, learn where you belong, learn, you know, more so the instructions that are needed, you know, to be a godly woman, you know. And you could read all kind of precepts on that. But I got to thinking about this whole feminist movement, you know, this whole situation, and how it goes back to the beginning of time, because the Queen of Heaven worship is nothing new. You know, the Queen of Heaven worship goes all the way back to the first person I heard say this. I'm not sure if it's a saying, was a Divine Prospect, which he said, he called it a Gardenian Pact. You know, and that is very fitting, you know. So what I want to do is I just want to look up feminism in the regular dictionary just to see what it says. Oops, spelled it wrong. Feminism. feminism. It says a doctrine, so it's a teaching that goes where? Back to what? Back to the beginning of time. It goes back, way back to the beginning of times, before the cavemen and all that good stuff. Inside joke. It says a doctrine that advocates equal rights for women. And when you go into the origins of women's lib, it goes back to the Rockefellers, which is that serpent that was in the garden, which Lord's will, we're going to read a couple of verses in Genesis 3. So that is the actual, serpent that was in the garden. Because the Rockefellers, when they set up women's lib, they set it up under the guise of giving women equal rights with men. But really what it was to be able to get women to work, because prior to that whole movement, women stayed at home. They worked at home. They took care of the babies. They cooked. They cleaned. They kept the house in order. They paid the bills while the man went out to get the bacon, so to speak. All right? And they, devised this plan to have women fight for these so-called equal rights so that women could go out there and work so they can tax both the man and the woman. So it was a pretty much a master stroke. Does the Q.O.H have anything to do with the Shekinah? No. The Q.O.H is the Queen of Heaven. The Shekinah is not, I repeat, the Shekinah, or Shekinah, I believe it is in the Hebrew, is not a feminine trait of the Most High. That is a bullshit lie that was established by these small hatters. The Shekinah, or Shekinah, I believe it is, all that the word Shekinah means, or Shekinah in the Hebrew, all it means is dwelling. When you look up the word dwelling, the Most High dwelt with the children of Israel, that's where you get the word Shekinah from. And what these devils have done is they've taken that phrase in the Hebrew and said that it's the feminine traits of the Most High, and it's not. Because this was one of the main things that was going to be discussed with this guy, Natural Tahuti. He was supposed to come down to 34th Street. That's just around the time when he got locked up, and that was one of the main things that I was going to deal with when he came down, because Apostle Torah said he's coming down, because we thought he was an Ephraimite. He said, you're going to deal with him, brother. I said, okay. So I went and I was doing some research, because that's one of his things, Shekinah. This is another thing that Polite pushes, that the Most High is a woman. That's total BS. The scripture said that the Most High is a man of war. The word Shekinah or Shekinah, look it up. Just look up the word dwell. The Most High dwell with men, or the dwelling of the Lord, the presence of the Lord in the midst of Israel. That's what the Shekinah is, or Shekinah. I believe it's Shekinah in the Hebrew, and that's all it is. But this is also a play on, it's a play on the worship of the Queen of Heaven. And it goes back to the garden. Matter of fact, let's get it. Genesis 3:1. It says, now the serpent, which was an actual man. A serpent was not an actual serpent that spoke to a woman, although the Most High can make serpents speak. He can make animals speak. He made the donkey speak to Balaam, but this was not an actual serpent. This is why when we read in the book of Revelation 20:1 on down, it speaks about that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, that dragon. And when we read further into Revelation, going back to the 17th chapter, it tells us that this particular dragon, that is as red, with the 7 heads and 10 horns, is a representation of 7 mountains, which are 7 governments, and 7 kings, which are pretty much 7 empires or rulerships of Esau. So that whole dragon, the Satan, so on and so forth, the serpent, that's talking about these so-called white people today, which back then came as Cain. Then when the flood came and the people were destroyed, they came back through a man by the name of Esau, which later became known as the Edomites. The word Edom from the Hebrew word Adawam, not Adama, Adawam, which means red, because Esau is not white, they are red. White is a construct that they put upon themselves, going back to, I believe that was 1681. Some woman had brought that out. I can't really remember all. Elder Malcolm is the expert on that. All right. I'm just trying to see if. Okay, it doesn't say anything here, but when you look up the word Satan, I believe in the New Testament, it tells you that it's a Satan-like man or something along those lines. All right. So this serpent that was more subtle than any beast of the field, meaning any other people that were back there, because all people were in the garden. The nations, which were the sons of men, the sons of God, which was Adam, and his line that came after him. And then you had the sons of the wicked, which was the serpent and his seed, which came through Cain and through his descendants. And when he started having children, that was the line of the wicked. So Genesis 4, line of the wicked. Genesis 5, line of the sons of God, or the righteous. Genesis 6, the sons of men, or the daughters of the sons of men, were the other nations that Jake, back then was mingling amongst, even though they weren't being called Jake back then. So it says of the field which the Lord power had made, and he said unto the woman, Yea, have the Most High said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Because he already knew what she was going to say. He didn't come straight out and tell her you could do X, Y, and Z. He asked her a question, knowing what her answer was going to be, so that he can in turn turn around and actually, throw this curveball at her. Throw this feminist movement, back then wasn't called feminism, but throw this feminist movement at her. To give her what? Power. And pretty much power resides with the man. The woman, she is a servant. I know a lot of you don't like to hear that, but that's what you were created to be, a helpmeet. The word woman means servant. Look it up. Look it up. So I'm going to give you, some scenery. It's not much of a scenery, but enough of my ugly mug. All right. So it goes on to say, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of all the trees of the garden. See, so he already knew what she was going to say. That's why he did it that way. Because that's why the scripture say that the beast or the serpent was more subtle. Subtle means, clever, astute, very, crafty. All right? She's crafty. Inside joke. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And that's what he was waiting for her to say, this particular thing. And it says, and the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. But the Most High doth know that in the day you eat thereof, meaning you get into this, because it was a representation of the philosophies, or you could say the forbidden philosophies, which today they call mystery religion, or the mystery religions of Egypt and Babylon, so on and so forth. All of those regions like Sumer, Shinar, Babylon, Iraq, Assyria, all of those, Nineveh, all of those ancient cultures all had a form of Queen of Heaven worship. And this is where all of this goes back to. They were putting women up on pedestals. And that's where the whole movement of feminism came from. Did Eber marry Nimrod's daughter? That's not in the scriptures. That's not in the scriptures. It doesn't say who he married. It just gives his descendants. It doesn't say who he married. So we don't know who he married, but we know he did marry a woman. Then it says, for the Most High doth know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes will open, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And this is what? Power. This is what women want ultimately. They want power. That's why they get with the most powerful men. That's why you have something called hypergamy. Hypergamy is marrying up the ladder, so to speak. marrying royalty, marrying, which is really nothing wrong with that, because when a father looks for a husband for his daughter, whether she likes him or not, he's looking for stability. He's looking for a man that can take care of his daughter, that can provide for his daughter, so that he doesn't have to worry about her anymore. Because he raised her up as far as he could go, and now she is to be married, and that's why the father would pick the marriage, and marriages would be arranged, whether the woman liked it or not. And in this society, they have gotten far away from that, and this is why they removed the man out of the equation. So when they moved the man, were the Canaanites that Esau married possibly albino? Nope, they were not. The Canaanites were Hamites. Hamites are so-called brown-skinned people. You could read in the Compact Zondervan's Bible Dictionary under the definition of Ham, which I have here, which he is the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, because they, even though they're dark, the so-called Africans or Hamites, they are not the same as the Israelites, even though the Israelites are brown skin, from a dark brown to a light brown. There are Hamites albino in Eastern Africa. Yeah, well, you have that. Look at the story of Jacob and Esau. You could say Esau came out like an albino. He came out like a so-called white man, and that is a possibility. Two so-called black people or dark brown skinned people can bring forth an albino or a white looking baby. That's nothing new, but they are not albinos. The Canaanites are the descendants of Ham, which Ham and the four sons of Ham, they were all brown skinned people. All right, so that's why you had the arranged marriages, and those arranged marriages, which they removed the father out the house because they knew that the father had the mental capacity and the ability to deal with these situations where a woman cannot. This is why you need both parents in the house. You need the father and the mother, both for guidance and for nurture. And this is why our people today are so fucked in the head, because most households grew up with single families, which mostly was the mother. And a mother cannot teach a man how to be a man when he reaches a certain age. Just like a mother cannot have the authority over children like a father has. I mean, they were thrown in that situation, so they had to do what they had to do, but it's mostly off of anger, rage, emotion, more than sound logic, and proper nurture as far as teaching children what their roles are. There's a reason why a man has a rod and a woman has a vagina. They're both different. They're not equal in no form, shape, or fashion. Because if that's the case, how come these trans that are in these women's sports are beating the shit out of these women? How come if women are equal, how come they're not beating the shit out of these trans? Why is it the other way around? Because they are still men, and men are stronger than women. The scriptures say that the woman is the weaker vessel. She is weaker, physically and spiritually. And that's why the serpent came to Eve and not to Adam. And he used that brown sugar to get to Adam. These devils know what they're doing too. So let's go from there, building off of, the father choosing, the husband of the daughter. Let's see where we can start at. There's a couple of precepts in the Apocrypha that are really good. But you know what? Before we get into that, let's go into I think it's the 36th chapter. Just bear with me. Let me know if it's too much wind. I could bring the mic a little closer. Like I said, if there's too much wind, let me know. I can bring it a little closer. Yeah, that's a good precept the brother put in 1 Corinthians 11:3. I will have you know that the head of every man is Yahushai, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Yahushai is the Most High. Yeah, and the Heavenly Father set it up that way. But the problem is that this society has taught these women that they're equal. That's why we always have a problem with women coming on the comment board talking shit because they've been given too much freedom. The scriptures say, let's go to Ecclesiastes 25. See, this is Ecclesiastes 25, and the whole thing is good, most of it, but let's just go to the 24th verse. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. Why you can't give her liberty to gad abroad? Because she will abuse herself through overmuch liberty. They keep deleting your comment. I don't know why. I don't know who's doing that. I'm not doing it. I don't think any brother on the comment board is doing that. The brother I'm the one I bought said that. Let me see. Right. I'm going to read this and then I'm going to jump up. This is Ecclesiastes 26 and 10. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through over much liberty. A woman is not supposed to have all of that freedom, all of that liberty, so-called women's lib and all that crap. The reason why is because they have to be instructed, and you have to keep a hedge about them. Because right here, Ecclesiastes 36:25, where no hedge is, there the possession is spoiled, and he that hath no wife will wander up and down mourning. Right. So if you don't have a hedge over these women, guess what? They're going to be damaged. Because remember, when a man and woman got married, it was the job of the parents to make sure that they set up the nuptial chamber where the marriage would be solidified, so to speak. And one thing that they did was lay down this white sheet where their daughter was going to get penetrated at. And once the man penetrated her, blood would come out because, he's ripping through her hymen, as they call it. And that sheet would serve as a token or evidence of the woman's virginity. Just in case, the man would get tired of the woman, because Jake was doing wicked shit like that too, and say that she, just to get out of it, oh, she's a whore, she's a harlot, I met her, she wasn't pure as a driven snow. So the parents will come up and show, nah, that's not true, because we got the token of her virginity. So that token of the woman's virginity was pretty much, a safeguard for the woman. You see? So that overmuch liberty is not good, because the hedge will be, or the goods will be damaged. When we go to 1 Timothy chapter 5, right? 1 Timothy chapter 5, and I'll start at 11. But the younger widows refuse, for when they have begun to wax wanton against Yahweh, they will marry, right? Because a woman, when she was a widow, she had the ability to marry again if she was a younger woman. But if she was 60 and above, they wouldn't get married. And the reason why it was not good to take in a widow at a young age, because she still has them hormones jumping. She still has life, within, her body. She still gets that scratch that she needs to get itched, or that itch that needs to be scratched from time to time, So when a younger woman would do that, and then they start getting that itch, what will happen? They wouldn't have the discipline enough to continuously serve the Lord, and they will go and get married and pretty much break that vow. You see? But this is, also applied to women in general. It says, having damnation because they have cast off their first faith. And withal, they learn to be what? Idle. And that's the worst thing for a woman to. These women that's just sitting at home all day doing nothing, That's not good. They're idle. Then it says, wandering about from house to house, going from this person's house to that person's house, right? It says, and not only idle, but tattlers and busybodies in everybody's business, talking about everybody's shit, telling everybody how they should run their relationship and what they should do and how they should do this, and their whole life and world is upside down. You know, that's the, you know, I ain't one to talk. You ain't heard it from me. You know, inside joke. But that's pretty much the way of the hood, the way of the barrio, all right? So it says also, and busybodies speaking things which they ought not, right? Talking about this one, talking about that one, talking about, you know, problems that her and her man are having. And then she gets upset when her girlfriend moves in and lays down with her man, you know, because she found out that y'all having problems, and she was looking for an opening to get up in there, you know, which if she doesn't have a man, there's nothing wrong with that. A man can have more than one woman. That's another thing in this society that's frowned upon. A man having more than one woman. It's our God-given right to have more than one woman. And that's the biggest, one of the biggest tests in this truth for women. Because these women, oh yeah, shalom, brother. Shalom. Yehoshua, you know, yes, shalom, yes, all praises, double honors. Here it is, they got a man, and once they find out that the man got another woman, they lose it. But wait a minute, I thought you was in the truth. I thought you believed in the truth. Isn't a part of the truth a man being able to have more than one woman as long as that woman ain't married? So why are you bucking up? Because you women are rebellious for the most part. You women are rebellious. You know? And that's the God's honest truth. All right? Right. So it goes on to say in the 14th verse, I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house. See? It's supposed to be a guider of the house. There's another scripture that says keepers at home. It says, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. Right. So you're carrying yourself godly as a daughter of Sarah, a real daughter of Sarah, not a phony daughter of Sarah. You know, giving none occasion, you know, for blasphemy. It says, for some are already turned aside after Satan. Right, you got these women that claim to believe in the Lord, but then they're doing everything opposite of what the Lord said to do. So let's go back to Ecclesiastes 26. I was going to start at the top, but I'm going to just jump down to, I'm going to start at 7. Because there's a lot of good, you know, you have the virtuous woman. Scripture say who can find a virtuous woman for her prices above rubies, I believe it says. You know, so you do have sisters out there that are virtuous, but they're very far and few in between. Like Judith was a virtuous woman, and she was a very beautiful woman. When her husband died, she was still of a young age, and she never married again. She was so beautiful, so, you know, appealing, such eye candy, that when she would walk and there was a war going on, wars would actually stop so that they can swoon. The men would swoon, the warriors would swoon at her beauty. But she never married again. You see, she never married again. So that's a virtuous woman, because it says her price is above I believe it says rubies, you know, in the book of Proverbs 31. And you women should read Proverbs 31, especially from the 10th verse down, and that gives you how to be a godly woman, you know. And then Titus, the 2nd chapter, tells you how the older women were supposed to teach the younger women how to love their husbands, how to love their, you know, their children, you know, how to, you know, guide the house, what to do, you know, what's pleasing, because this society doesn't teach that. You know, that's a science lost. Womanhood is a science lost in this society. You know, not very many women today know how to be an actual woman. They frown upon if a woman stays home and takes care of the house and knows how to cook and clean and sew and wash clothes. That's a lost art almost. And that's a beautiful, that's a beautiful thing, a beautiful office that the Lord gave to women. But women don't want that. They want the office of a man. Why? Because the serpent done beguiled Eve, and that beguiling has continued on to this very day through the same serpent that's pushing that same venom, coursing through those demonic veins of these women out here. All right, so going back, it says, Ecclesiastes 26:7, it says, an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. And this is one of the scriptures that popped in my head last night. It's like, you have an evil wife, that bitch is like an anchor. She's like not in a good sense. She's like a ball and chain. She's always, oppressing you. She's always, making you look, embarrassing you, making you look bad. Man, whoo. Anywho, it says, he that hath hold of her is as though he held a scorpion. So if you have a scorpion in your hand, right? If you turn your head for 1 minute, that scorpion is going to sting you. You have to keep your eye on that scorpion at all times. And every time he tries to make a move, you got to, maneuver to get around it. That's how these women are. You have to really look and keep an eye on them. There's a saying, I can't trust you as far as I can throw you. If I can't see you, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Y'all really acting like women have a choice to stay in the house. And so, see, this is what I'm talking about. Here we go. Here goes the simps. We didn't say that. I said that's a lost art. In this society, of course, men and women have to go out to work. But in actuality, a woman is supposed to be at home, cooking, cleaning, sewing. But you got the simps. Simps are always going to come out the woodwork. Every time you talk about the woman, you're always going to have some lonely, I'm going to say it, fuck it, some lonely, sad dick motherfucker come on here, always pussy begging, to crusade and be a Captain Saberhole for these bitches. And that's why they're so goddamn proud. Because of individual simps like that. Crazy, man. These women could do no wrong in these people's eyes. That's why, in these Jake's eyes, that's why there's a saying that Jake was saying a while back that was waking up to these women, that you guys are fucking enablers. You're enablers of these women. You enable these women to do what they do and encourage them to be the hoes and the harlots that they are. You excuse them instead of chastising them and telling them about themselves. And that's why this world is so fucked up. And that's why these bitches are bat crazy. Because of all them goddamn different men's sperms that they got in them. Like I was watching a video earlier, this crazy bitch on top of this dude's hood, breaking his goddamn windshield. She's on top of the goddamn car. She's on that damn car with her hand on the door. He's trying to close the door, telling the bitch to get off the car. So he finally shuts the door, and the bitch has so many demons on her that he shut the door with her hand still in there. And he drove off with that crazy bitch on top of his hood like she was whalers. See? You know why that is? Because simps out there, condone that type of behavior. You see? And that's why this fucking world is out of order, because no one is stepping up to tell these women, and put them in their goddamn place. For every brother that tells these women to get in their place, you got 1,000 simps out there, simping and chimping, hoping that the bitch will give them a slice of that funky ass coochie that she done gave to everybody else. Unfucking believable, man. Unfucking believable. And that's why the Most High is going to destroy 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians here in America. And you women are going to have it real fucking bad very soon. You're going to have it real fucking bad. You feminist-minded hoes, especially those of you that claim to be in the truth and you still got that feminist mind state, the Most High is going to bring judgment upon you hoes. Rise up, ye women that are at ease, you careless daughters, you haughty hoes. You're going to have it bad, man. Anyway, it goes on to say, a drunken woman and a gatherer abroad. What is a gatherer abroad? A woman that's always in the goddamn streets. Every time you turn around, this bitch is in the goddamn street. What the fuck are you doing in the streets? And they learn early. You got 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old girls, 11, 12-year-old girls out in the streets at fucking 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night in the morning. What the fuck are you doing out there? You're supposed to be at home. Fuck, man. It says, a drunken woman and a gatherer abroad causeth great anger. Because you know she up to no goddamn good. And meanwhile, Simptacular, he's at home watching the babies, and this bitch is out getting her freak on. Talking about she hanging with the girls. Yeah, you hanging with the girls, all right. And she will not cover her own shame, because these women are shameless. That's why it says a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. It's a fucking embarrassment, man. The women and the men of our nation are a fucking embarrassment in this society. And that's why nobody fucking respects us. Everybody thinks that every Jake out here and every Israelite woman is the same. They think that every Israelite man and every Israelite woman is the same. Why? Because the majority of you are fucked up in the head, man. It says, if thy daughter be shameless, meaning she has no shame, a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. What is a female dog? A bitch. So much so that they calling each other bitches now. And they even refer to themselves as a bitch. You know, because a bitch like to get drunk. You know, because a bitch like to do this. You know, because a bitch like to go out. You know, because a bitch like to dance. Because a bitch like to look good. Like that's, you know, like that's a term of endearment. You know? And then you have these simps, Simptacular himself, you know, calling these hoes queens, not knowing that a goddamn queen, Q-U-E-A-N, which is the root word, means a prostitute. It says, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly. Like if you had to put that bitch in a straitjacket. Why? Because if you don't, least she abuse herself through over much liberty. Because a woman is supposed to be under the yoke of her father. She's supposed to be taught by her mother. And then she's supposed to be under the yoke of her husband once, you know, she comes of age. And that's why these women are the way they are, because they have no proper upbringing. Because they were raised by their mother was raised by their mother, which was raised by their mother, which they were all a bunch of hoes. They taught you how to be a hoe. And then you know, you're 35 years old. Now when you get to be 35 years old and your shape ain't what it used to be, now you want to get serious. Now you want to find a good man to settle down with. You know, after your goddamn, you know, the viscosity, you know, between your legs done been gone a long time ago. You know, I'm sorry, I'm getting very graphic with it, but it's got to be said. You know, lips are hanging down so far from all the rods that have gone up inside of you that you got to go get surgery to get that shit removed. You had this one bitch on a video. I forgot, this was years ago. I watched this video. She was complaining about how she went to this dude's crib and how, you know, she went there, she gave him the coochie, right? And then afterwards she complaining, yeah, man, your sour sheets and your sour, you know, pillowcases, you know, wash your pillowcases, wash your sheets, make a bitch want to give you the cooch, you know. Said, bitch, but you still got slayed, you know, in the Salaki. You know, you still got slayed in the what? How did what did she call it? She called it the sheets were I forgot what she said. I forgot. I just mentioned the name. You know, she said the sheets were sour. You know, you got slayed in the oh man, Salaki, I messed the joke up. I messed it up. But anyways, nevertheless, she still gave him the coochie, complaining about how dirty his sheets were and all that. But you still cracked them legs open, you know. Goddamn women are a joke, man, for the most part. The majority of you. It says, watch over an impudent eye. An impudent eye is one that doesn't have any shame. A woman that has no shame. You got to watch over that. An impudent eye. She got slayed in the I keep forgetting that word. I keep forgetting that word. She got slayed in the sour sheets of passion. Salaki for my corny jokes. Timing is everything, baby. Watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. Right. Yeah, man. She got slayed in the sour sheets of passion. And then she had the nerve to complain. So she'll trespass against you. That's why you got to keep an eye on her. It says she will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he has found the fountain. Right. You know, blowing all type of dudes' rods. It says, and drink of every water near her. Right. She has no shame. There's no limit to her. Tall, short, fat, skinny, ugly, cute. She, you know, she laying out all chicks. You know, like them three, actually it was four that got run over, or hit and run out there in Chicago. 4 moles, and 3 of them dropped dead from getting hit by that car. That car plowed into them moles and sent them back to the next world, old man. You know? And then one of them was posting on one of those chats that he just finished having sex with the dude's the baby mama's man, but I ain't gonna say nothing. I was like, man, you motherfucker, that's why you got what you got, man. That's why you're floating in heaven right now. Now you're good. That filthy body that y'all was in is down here on the earth, man. The Lord plowed right through them things, man. The Lord got tired of you. So it says she will open up her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found the fountain, and drink of every water near her. By every hedge will she sit down and open her quiver against every arrow. Right. Like I have a precept there, you know, such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and say she hath done no evil. You know, and that's what they do. There's no discipline. That's why they're, you know, and then they're pushing this thing, this foul spirit out there, you know, on these Instagram, TikTok, whatever the hell they playing them on, you know, body count, a woman's body count. A woman's body count should only be 1. That's it. Unfortunately, in this society, you know, it's not like that, but that's how it's supposed to be, just 1. You know? But then they're proud of having 25, 100, 1,000 men as their body count. Then you wonder why the bitch is bat crazy. You know? It says, the grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones. See? Discretion, which is something that these women don't have. They're not discreet. Every problem that they have, the whole world knows about it. Everybody at the job knows about it. Her friends know about it. Her family knows about it. Everybody's talking about her husband or her man. When he comes around, and then he's looking, feeling uncomfortable because this bitch done ran him off about everything that goes on with y'all. So it goes on to say, it says, a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. See? Because she was raised the right way by the father and the mother. See? Guidance from the father, nurture from the mother, and vice versa. Because there's certain things that the mother guides and provides for the daughter for her future. And it's for your benefit. It's not for your destruction. It's not for your ridicule. It's so that you won't be ashamed. So you won't be ashamed. Because that's an embarrassment. Having a woman, you know, laying down with all types of men. Having a high body count. That's a shame, man. And that's why these nations don't respect us. That's why these nations get with these women for what? For pleasure, that's it. Because they know that that our women are easy. You give them a ham and cheese sandwich, and you could go around the back, get your rod blown. You give her a cream soda or whatever soda she likes, and you could, you know, get some tail while you at it. It's a fucking shame, man. This is low. This is a low point in history, man. And we're the only nation that's like that. These Edomite women, they loose, but fuck them. They're Edomites. They could do what they do. But we're a holy people. And we're subjected to this shit. Hey, well, that goes back to the curses, man. Yeah, this is why we need Q.O.H, as the brother said. That's right. So it goes on to say, a shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, man. And her continent mind cannot be valued. A continent mind is a mind that can continue, that has the discipline to continue. Because when a woman is incontinent, that means she can't continue. She can't contain herself. She doesn't have the discipline. And this is why the Apostle Paul said that when you have a woman, you can't defraud each other. She can't be mad at you and say, I ain't gonna give you no coochie, and you can't defraud her and tell her, I ain't gonna give you no rod. Fuck you, bitch. Unless y'all, you know, are doing it for a particular spiritual reason. Y'all talk about it, you know, and you say, look, we're not gonna have sex for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, however long it is, you know, because trying to get, you know, a closer connection, trying to get more spiritual, you know, trying to get some answers from the Lord, you know, blah, you know, whatever the case may be. And you both are in agreement with it. Then after the time is over, then you come back together. You know? Because in this society, these women cannot contain themselves. Men cannot contain themselves. That's why there's so much adultery going on. And today, forget about it. Can't even talk about it. Today you got the whole bisexual, you know, homosexual, and every other, you know, shit going on that's being pushed out there. It's a damn shame, man. But this is what happens, you know, when we're brought to a low state and suffering the curses. It goes on to say, it says, as the sun, when it arises in the high heaven, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house. How many women today you know that can order their house correctly? Guide the house, you know, make sure the children are good to go, taken care of. Know how to cook, know how to clean, know how to sew, know how to do all those things. You know? You have women out there that can do that, you know, but that is a fading science, for lack of a better word, a fading skill that's slipping away into oblivion, especially among our nation. It says, as the clear light is upon the holy candlestick, so is the beauty of the face in his ripe age. And I'm sorry, in ripe age. I'll probably come back to this, but let's jump from there to the 36th chapter. And the just bear with me 1 second. verse 20. Ecclesiastes 36 and 20. A froward heart causes heaviness, but a man of experience will recompense him. A woman will receive every man, yet is one daughter better than another, right? Because you have some daughters out there that have a mind that's well instructed. You know, they carry themselves a certain way. They carry themselves like women. You know, they're not out here advertising their goodies. You know, they're covered up. You know, I mean, you know, some women are naturally, even if they cover up, you can still see, you know, but at least you're trying to do something, you know. The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance, and a man loveth nothing better. If there be kindness, meekness, and comfort in her tongue, then is not her husband like other men, right? Because other men out here, you see it, you know, you go into a particular hood, and everybody knows the sucker in the hood or the suckers in the hood who women, you know, run game on them, you know, got them all, you know, looking real bad. This is fucked up, man. It says, he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession. And what do you do with a possession? You hedge the possession in. Because if you don't hedge the possession in, what happens? Others move into it and try to take over your possession. And you're not really supposed to, you know, if you have a woman, you're not really supposed to be leaving your woman for long periods of time. At least the possession or the hedge, you know, become, you know, broken into, so to speak. If you have a woman, you're supposed to, you know, not be away from her too long. Because women, you know, get them urges and them needs. I'm just saying. I'm just stating the obvious. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like to himself, and a pillar of rest. Nowadays, you get a woman. Back in the days, man, you used to be able to get a woman, and things would be cool for about 6 months. You know, 3 to 6 months or so, before you really start having problems. You know, fights. Today, you get with a woman, maybe like not even a week later, you fighting, arguing, breaking up. This world is fucked up, man. Real talk. Where no hedge is, there the possession is spoiled. And he that hath no wife will wander up and down mourning. That's it. The last verse goes into something else. Let's see. Let's go to the 42nd chapter, and then we can close out here on this one. Just going to read a couple of verses here. I'm going to jump around a little here. Ecclesiastes 42 and 6. Sure keeping is good. Sure keeping is good. Because remember, it says not to give a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. A shameless daughter, you got to keep her in, lest she abuse herself with overmuch liberty. So sure keeping is good, where an evil wife is, and shut up where many hands are. Why? Because she's gonna do the do. She's gonna violate. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Verse 9. The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth, and the care for her taketh away sleep when she is young. Right, because when a woman gets to a certain age, them hormones start jumping. She start getting, you know, that itch, you know, because it's time for her to get plowed. I'm just keeping it real, you know. And in certain cases, certain women don't care who it is, as long as they're getting it, and the getting's good. They want to keep getting it. Inside joke. It says, "Least she pass away the flower of her age, and being married, least she should be hated." Why? Because she wasn't a virgin when she got with her husband. And the parents can't prove that she was a virgin because they don't have the token of her virginity, because while she was in her father's house, she went and slide away and got with some dude or dudes, and they took her purity. That was and still is a big thing of value. Virginity. That purity. See? It says, in her virginity, least she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house. Nowadays, that's like a common thing. Chick be, 13, 14 years old, pregnant in her mother's house. That's a normal thing, but that's really a shame, because by the time a woman comes of age, she's supposed to be with her husband, someone that can provide for her in her own household, raising her own family. Here it is, raising a family within her parents' home or her mother's home. And that's why women, when they get to a certain age, they're always clashing with their mothers, with their siblings, because a woman needs to be with a man away from all of that. There's too much estrogen floating around there. It says, and having a husband, least she should misbehave herself, and when she is married, least she should be barren, right? Because she done laid down with all kind of individuals, and by the time she got married, she wasn't pure. It says, keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, lest she make thee a laughing stock to thine enemies. And we see that, man. Our nation, the women of our nation have and the men also, but we're dealing with the women right now. They have brought great shame to our nation. These nations, they don't respect us just based off of how our women act. It says, and a byword in the city, and reproach among the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitude. Behold not everybody's beauty, and sit not in the midst of women, for from garments cometh a moth, and from women wickedness. You notice them dudes that's always around women, best believe that dude is a mope. It says, better is the churlishness of a man than a courteous woman, a woman, I say, which bringeth shame and reproach. Let's see. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This has been the rise of the Q.O.H, or the Queen of Heaven, and pretty much that's the sentiment in this world, because they're following the same rule book from the ancients, going back to Sumer, going back to Babylon, going back to Nineveh, the Assyrians, the Egyptians, and all of those ancient cultures back then that were worshiping the woman. It's the same thing done over. Everything is just, repackaged in this society. And that's why everything is fucked up like it is. Excuse my, my French, my medieval French, but it's the truth. So with that, I pray that you brothers and you few sisters have been edified. Those of you sisters that are doing the best that you can, just keep doing what you've been doing. Like in the past, we used to say, if the shoe fits, get rid of them and get another pair. But if the shoe don't fit, then move on. Don't worry about it. If you're not one of those sisters that are lewd and doing all kind of wickedness, continue doing what you've been doing, and may the Lord, bless you and your household and deliver you. Same thing with you brothers out there. Keep doing the work, keep on fighting, keep on striving. And pretty soon, 8th, 9th, 10th round, this devil's going down. Inside joke, but I'm serious. This devil's going down. I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Shalom.